Good afternoon. Welcome to From the 13th Floor, Listen to a Vet. I'm your host this afternoon, Professor Susan Watson-Turner, right here at Lehman College. I am the Director of Programming and Production for We Belong Network. And we are the sponsor of this radio show today here on TBJ Radio. We have some wonderful guests with us today. Who are going to tell us a lot about what goes on in the veteran community, which is what we do here. It's been interesting to me to watch some of the new Netflix movies and see now veterans are becoming main characters and really dealing with the issues that you face. So I want to turn it over first to my co-host, Mr. Best, who is the CEO and big-time boss at We Belong Network here.
Okay, hello, my veterans community. As she said, my name is Richard Best, CEO of WBN We Belong Network, for veterans, by veterans, and their families and friends. I'm here with Roxanne Gonzalez and Sean Kingston, and we're going to get into some heavy conversations about what we can do for you veterans out there. First, let's start off with Ms. Roxanne Gonzalez. Tell us your position, where you work, what you do.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invite. Like you mentioned, my name is Roxana Gonzalez. I am a U.S. Navy veteran, 20 years, 1997 to 2017, November 25th, and I'm proud. And once I departed my services, I actually said, what am I going to do? How can I continue to service those veterans and provide them the knowledge and the information that I've learned? So that's when I became involved in my community, and that is Community Board 5, that actually sits, services a couple of zip codes. If I would like to mention, that is zip code 10452. 53.
That's all in the Bronx?
Yes, 575868. And it's actually also serviced by the precinct 46. So we are actually really trying to motivate and kind of disseminate some of the information that we've gathered so far. And it's a challenge. It's a challenge. A lot of our veterans in my community, they're either older or they just don't want to participate.
Really?
And it's a challenge to outreach.
Yes, it is. It is.
Well, that's why we're here. We Belong Network
Yes.
Our purpose is to disseminate this information to as many veterans as we can. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Through multimedia, broadcasting, we have several platforms, so we try to use them all to, to inform our veterans out there.
Beautiful.
And that's a great thing. But how long have you been involved in the veterans community, and what inspired you?
So once I became a retiree, a veteran that's retired, I went ahead and started questioning, how can I help, like I mentioned before? And that's how I came across my community board. I became an advocate for some of the issues that we had in my community. Once the opportunity came, I applied for the position to become a board member.
Oh, okay.
And I am a board member of Community Bill 5 and also the chair for the Veterans Affairs. So I'm actually involved in different levels, different areas, not only with the concerns with the veterans, but also with the housing. Some of the homelessness that we have within our veterans is a huge concern. Their mental illness some of them hasn't been diagnosed. And PTSD is running rampantly among our veterans.
Yes,
we keep hearing that same issue.
Correct.
Yeah, over and over again.
So these are the things, trying to provide them with information for food pantry and all the other different things that are available to them. Education, among other things, because it's power.
And we also have Mr. Kingston here. And Mr. Kingston, would you mind telling us who you are, what you do?
Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Sean Kingston. I'm actually the outreach coordinator for the Bronx VA. So my job basically entails going out in the community, working with our community partners to basically inform and educate veterans about their benefits and services. Again, these are earned benefits for your time served in the military. There's a host of benefits our veterans are entitled to. So my job basically is to go out, work with our community partners, family members to inform so veterans are aware and take advantage of these earned benefits.
Okay. Well, that sounds pretty uniquely different, but how long have you been involved with?
Well, my inception into the VA started when I was 16 years old in our VA work-study program. My goal was to join the Air Force. So after I graduated high school, the VA kind of made me an offer I couldn't refuse,
All right. Good.
so to speak. So I've been involved in VA now going over 25 years. I've been part of outreach for over 18 years now. Within that time frame, we've literally linked and brought thousands of vets into the VA healthcare system and linked them to services within the VA network as well as our community partners. So I'm well-versed outreach, love, what I do, serving our veterans. I can write a book on personal stories.
I'm sure.
You should.
Yeah.
We will
But
produce it.
hear from our vets,
Good.
but it's a passion. I really enjoy reaching and networking and forming new partnership like Community Ward 5, and just basically informing vets about their benefits they've earned.
Good. We have two outreach specialists here, so let's get into it. All right. Let's start again with Ms. Gonzalez. Ms. Gonzalez, could you tell me how can a veteran, or what do you do for a veteran when it comes to you?
Well, the first thing you need to understand their needs, and sometimes they might not even know their own needs.
Right.
So you start a discussion, and you start, they start telling you their tales and where they've come from and what they do, and it's kind of like a little interview. And you speak to them, and you start understanding some of their needs. And at that point, you start writing it down, all the different things. And at that point, you're able to provide them with the awareness of where they could actually receive those services.
Okay. All right. And same question goes to you. What happens when a veteran walks up to you and says,
Begin.
First thing I do is thank you for your service.
Hey, thank
That's
you.
always a welcoming remark.
Yes.
So when I greet a vet, usually get a history. Their DD-214 just to verify their service. VA's big, VA's broad. So I usually ask, what can we do for you? What are you looking to get from the VA? Our specialty is healthcare, but the VA works in unison to basically link and get veterans whatever services they need. So whether it's housing issues, filing a claim for service-related disability, any mental health issues, it's basically a one-stop shop with outreach. So in order to get benefits from the VA, particularly healthcare, a veteran needs to fill out an application, an enrollment application. Once we process that application, we verify their service, then we can actually link them to a primary care doctor or audiology or whatever services they need. We go through basically a one-stop shop. Is there anything you need? What can we do for you? What are you looking to obtain? Because the benefits are broad and they're across the board. And there's a lot of vets out there that know about the VA, but know of the VA, not necessarily know
But they don't
about the
use
VA.
Right.
They don't use it.
So what do you think is the deterrent that keeps the vet from coming and getting the service?
So after over 18 years,
Because we know you're a nice person. Yes.
Thank you. You guys are all nice. After 18 years of doing outreach, there's a lot of reasons. For example, one of the biggest answers I get, well, I don't need it. Let someone else use it.
Okay.
It's a total opposite. The more veterans that take advantage of their earned benefits, more resources Congress allocates to the VA. So it's strength in numbers. If you don't want to use it for other veterans who are actually only rely on VA as the only source of health care. A vet may have health insurance and still use the VA. That's dual care. And we will work with a primary care doctor to basically formulate the best treatment for you.
And it doesn't take away from another
It
veteran.
doesn't take
if
away-
You use it, right?
It doesn't take away from another veteran. We need veterans to enroll in VA. Take advantage of their benefits, and these are earned benefits earned. You're not taking away from anyone.
Okay.
Right? And that's the misconception we get from my outreaches.
All right. Now, let me ask another question to you, Ms. Gonzalez. How do I determine which one to go to?
Well, it really depends who they make first contact with. If they make contact with me, then I'm able to provide them the guidance that they need. Maybe they need to enroll online, and I'm able to help them because I already know the process. But most of the time, what I do is I obtain their information and I actually refer them to the office. Mostly Sean. Sean is my collaborator. We've been working together in different areas, and that's one of them.
Well, I want you to hold that thought. We got to take a little break. This is Vet Chat. Listen to a vet from the 13th floor. And the 13th floor is where a lot of those services downtown in Manhattan, I guess, are held and housed. And so we named it that because we really want to get more information on your outreach efforts. So hold on, we're going to cut to a break here, and we'll be right back.
Día me dijeron que pintara el marco por dentro y pinté el lado de afuera.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Un mensaje de The Alzheimer Association y The Ad Council.
I can't believe he found them.
He seems sorry.
We very clearly told him not to look up there.
I'm honestly impressed that he was able to do it.
Right? What, did he balance on that big chair?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he'll just know what his gifts are this year.
I really thought we had hidden them well.
If they can find their presents, they can find a gun.
911, what is your emergency?
Every day, 8 kids and teens are unintentionally killed or injured by loaded and unlocked guns. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and End Family Fire.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling on it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off for school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Why was the basketball court all wet?
Welcome back to Listen to a Vet from the 13th floor, right here at TBJ Radio. This is a WBN We Belong Network radio show. We have our guest here today, Miss Roseanne Gonzalez, Mr. Sean Kingston, and they were about to talk about their outreach working together to really get to the veteran community.
Okay. My question is then, if a veteran comes to you and he's already been turned down for services, and he's disjointed, he's angry now, but he still deserves the services, what could you do for him?
If any vet, comes to my office denied any claims for disability, what I would recommend is they file an appeal. From my line of work and what I've noticed, some veterans take it upon themselves to actually fill out that lengthy application process for service-related disability.
I was one of them, yeah.
So my recommendation to you, have the expert do it. It's done free of charge. We have the State Office of Veteran Services at RV on the 4th floor. They're there 5 days a week, appointments only.
Yes, been there too.
Right, so I highly recommend, do not fill out that service-related disability application on your own. Have someone do it. It's done free of charge.
All right, veterans, do y'all hear that? Do not fill it out by yourself. There's an outreach center that you can go to that will help you file your claims and your appeals.
Free of charge, by the way.
Free of charge, by the way. Okay, thanks. And Miss Roxanne, I'm sorry, Miss Gonzalez, okay? Let's start. The same question to you. what could you do for a veteran that's already been through the system and is angry about, first, the PTSD that he have, secondly, that he's been turned down because he was improperly diagnosed or not diagnosed at all?
What I will do is never give up. That's the
Yes.
last thing that you do, regardless in any level of your life. So basically, I will just start walking with them through the steps that they need, and give them the hope that they actually need to go ahead and, just like Sean said, appeal. There is nothing wrong for you to appeal. Maybe you're missing a document. Something that you said could have actually offset that denial. So just like Sean said, have the experts fill it out, and if they need me to pick them up, I've done that. I've picked them up and I've taken them to the hospital, or we've met at the hospital and say, hey, we'll meet at the cafeteria, I'll take you upstairs. I've been able to just guide them and say, hey, this is the lady in the 4th floor, you need an appointment. So sometimes they just need a friendly hand, someone that cares, just to kind of guide them. And that's
red
yes,
tape, yeah.
yes, because it's hard, it's difficult for some of our vets.
Okay.
Can I piggyback on that?
Yes.
Just to piggyback on what Roxana said, VA is big. It's a huge system. We have over 300,000 employees nationwide, over 1,700 sites of care within the VA healthcare system. I've been part of the VA now for over 25 years. I don't know everything, but I know enough. What I normally tell younger employees coming in and veterans themselves, you don't need to know everything. We just know where to find the answers.
Right.
Where to look. Just connect yourself with the right people, the right vet, the right outreach person, and it will link you through the process. So that's my advice to you. You can get frustrated at times, but never give up. We have patient reps on each floor, the director's office, point of contact. Reach those persons. Myself, be more than happy to guide you through the process to get you the services that you need.
Okay. Great. Well, me, a veteran, a Vietnam era veteran, have gone through the VA process, of course, and some good, some bad. Now, I'm an older veteran, and like most older veterans, we're seeking care for when we're at home, and some are incapacitated, or some elderly and deserves family care. Okay. Now, I found that there's a lot with that going on as far as trying to get the help that you need. How could you help a veteran that is looking for that kind of care?
All right. So recently, last June, to be exact, we passed the Mission Act. So part of the Mission Act is to just one tool to help us basically service our veterans. So in the event the VA can't provide an appointment within a certain time frame, 20 days for primary care, 20 days for mental health, or 28 days for specialty. The VA can make that appointment on the outside at the expense of the VA, and one of our providers within the Mission Act provider list, and send that patient there to actually receive care at the expense of the VA. Veterans have to be enrolled in order to utilize the Mission Act.
In the
VA, we have to determine your eligibility status. But also part of the Mission Act, and there's a lot of the Mission Act, is the expansion of the caregivers program. Prior to 2019 of last year, the caregivers program was only tailored to OEIF returning veterans from Iraq, Afghanistan. Now it'll be expanded to every era of vet. Granted, they actually qualify. So we'll pay a family member to basically take care of you. We have several social workers. We're in the process of hiring, so it'll be a whole program, a whole department within the VA. Our VA, each VA provide training, and we will pay that family member. So that's part of the Mission Act, the expansion of the caregivers program. So if any vet are in need of a family member to take care of them, granting you qualify, and our department will give you the qualifications. If you qualify, we'll definitely pay a family member to basically take care of you.
Okay, what are the qualifications then?
We don't have it yet. We're still working that part out,
Okay.
but I can definitely get you that information. But
All right,
again, it's a
do
whole
you-
new department that we're actually building.
Okay,
within
do
the
you
firm.
have to have a rating in order to
Not necessarily. Not
Okay,
necessarily.
good,
Not necessarily.
good.
Just
Just be a vet that's
be a vet
qualified
and you
in
qualify
the system, in the healthcare
in
system.
the healthcare system.
Correct.
Wow.
Same question.
It's interesting that you brought that question. I actually had a personal friend of mine that actually has surgery at the VA hospital, and his mother was his caregiver. So after he left the hospital, she was actually paid during his recovery to help. The nurse will come and assess his wounds and make sure that he was in process of healing. But once again, it gives you that comfort, that privacy.
And that's such a wonderful
Exactly.
feeling to
It
have
is.
someone that you know
Yes.
be the caregiver. And then
Yes.
they don't have to stress being missing work or whatever.
That's
They can
exactly
still be
what occurred. She
compensated.
actually had to receive a leave of absence from her job, and then she was actually inquired or gained some employment while she was taking care of her son. And it's a win-win situation for everyone.
I'm sure it helps the healing process.
Yes,
as
it
well.
does. Yes, it does.
Really
You're in the-
puts them at ease.
Yes, ma'am. You're at home and you're being taken care of by someone that cares for you.
Right, right, and knows you too.
Exactly.
Because sometimes that's all about the healing process of knowing the person. What do they really need? What do they like? And don't have to break in a stranger.
Correct.
In that process.
But this is what gets me here, all right? As far as all of these efforts are great, but nobody knows about them. Now, let me say this. I'm a veteran, Vietnam veteran, and I'm pretty well informed, I think. But there's a lot of services I have no idea about, particularly the caregiver service. Had a back operation. I was incapacitated. My wife took care of me. All right, but we didn't know that we can get paid for it, or we didn't know that we can get a upgrade in our benefit rating. So all of these questions are out there for veterans, and we don't know the answers. So how do we get the answers? How do we know that we're qualified for this or that?
Hold that answer. Hold that answer. We're going to take another short break here for a PSA. We'll be right back on TBJ Radio. From the 13th floor, listen to a vet.
Because the players kept dribbling on it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off for school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived in Philadelphia. Local time is 3:05 p.m. and the temperature is 67 degrees. At this time, you are now free to use your cellular devices.
You know that feeling when you get to turn your phone on after the plane lands? You can have that feeling every time you drive. Make sure your cell phone is stowed away whenever you are behind the wheel.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey. Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to From the 13th Floor. Listen to a vet right here at TBJ Radio. This is a We Belong Network production here, and we have Ms. Gonzalez from the Veterans Community Board, Sean Kingston from Veterans Community Outreach. Of course, you know Mr. Best, the CEO and co-host of from the 13th floor. And I'm sitting in today for Professor Susan Watson-Turner right here at Lehman College, TBJ Radio, and WBN Productions. We want you to also know that we're looking for veterans who are interested in becoming a co-host or of a podcast or a radio show right here at Lehman College. If you want to send your reel into our producers, Mr. Yves DeSouza and Miss Diana Brito, at WeBelongNetwork@gmail.com. That's WeBelongNetwork@gmail.com. Shoot them a note. Tell them you have some ideas that you'd like to know. So we're going to get back now to the question of how do we better inform our veteran community, their families and friends of all these great benefits that are there, and to get them directly to them. I think, who wants to take it first?
I'll take it.
Okay.
Why not? So veterans are the strongest advocate. In my line of work, I meet vets that heard about certain benefits from their fellow buddies that they serve with and want to take advantage of those benefits. But what I would say to anyone, you're your strongest advocate. Everything's posted on our website. For those who are computer savvy, for those who are not, you can always call our 24-hour 1-800 number hotline. You can reach out to our Veterans Community Partners, our New York City Department of Veteran Services, our vet centers, our community boards, the VA itself, to basically get an idea of the services and benefits we offer. There's no such thing as a dumb question in my line of work. I've learned that through my time in school from my mom. Just ask questions. You may not qualify for everything, but we can't address your needs unless we know exactly what's going on. There are currently over 22 million vets in the United States, all era, World War II, Korea, peacetime, OEF, OIF. We currently have about 9.7 million of those 22 million vets enrolled in VA healthcare.
Wow.
9% of females, by the way. I'd like to highlight that because I know it's actually
That's
climbing. So that number tend to increase on a yearly basis. But
You said 9% of the 22 million?
About 40%. So about 9.7 million enrolled nationwide for VA healthcare services. So there's still a huge number out there of veterans who basically aren't enrolled or need to get enrolled for services if they need the services. Again, if you qualify for the healthcare services, we'll get you the best care you need. Whether you have your private physician or not, that's perfectly fine by us. These are earned benefits.
Yes.
From my time, I've usually asked a ton of questions. What took you so long? Well, I had private insurance. I didn't need it. I'm taking away from someone else. That's not the case.
It seems that the profile of the veteran has changed recently, maybe post-Iraq. I'm not sure exactly when. I know that we often talk about the profile of the Vietnam vet, which is our era kind of, that people didn't come out and say, we're proud to say they were a veteran. But it seems that that's changing a little bit. Do you find that when you're dealing with the veterans now?
I do. I'm proud to be part of that 1% from the American nation.
Oh, okay.
And when I meet other veterans, I
American
tell them...
Indian.
Yes,
okay.
yes. When I meet other veterans, I tell them, you are that unique group. So don't be ashamed or quiet about it. And there's so much for them to acquire. Just to piggyback from what Sean mentioned, another outreach location for any veteran is most of us are going back to school. The universities, they all have a veterans program.
Right.
Association, a rep, someone, and they have links that they could actually assist them with. There's assistance from the states for education that actually, instead of taking loans, you might already qualify for the GI Bill, Chapter 33, 31, 36. Which is the one you qualify? You need to inquire.
We have some student vets sitting right in the control room right now that work with us on a regular basis that came through our veterans office.
That's
and
right.
we're very proud of them, and they're very active, and they're the reason why this show is here.
That's
All right. Well, getting back to the question at hand here, there's a veteran who not informed, how can he find out what are these organizations? Where are they? Who are they? How can they better serve me as a veteran?
One of the things that Sean and I started partnering up along with Maritza is
That's a
NAS.
worldwide.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. And we're trying to reach those veterans before they actually leave the service. So we are partnering up with the NAS NYC, which is the Navy Operational Reserve Center. Some of the reservists in our area are actually located right underneath the Throgs Neck Bridge.
Oh, wow.
And we have over 1,000, maybe 1,500 reservists at any given weekend or month. So we are partnering up with them just to kind of let them know, hey, these are the veterans. These are the services that you have. These are the things that is
As you
exactly.
make that transition.
Even
yes.
if you don't think that you need it at this point, sign up, enroll. Just like Sean said, numbers are huge. We need to gain those numbers in order to be able to obtain more aid from Congress. Because if they don't know that we exist, they're not gonna care.
If they fall off
exactly.
and don't
So documentation, signing up, becoming more aware, and even if you don't need the services, you're able to gain that knowledge and pass it on to a fellow veteran.
Okay. Well, that's what WBN is actually about. We're here to unite all of these disjointed organizations, all of the organizations that you guys are talking about here, under one umbrella.
Or bring them to the radio.
So that a veteran can go to one specific location and find out about all of it. Okay? And it's for lack of a better word, it helps a veteran to determine what his real needs are. Because when you're under PTSD or alcoholism or drug addiction, you're not so concerned, or you don't know any better at that point. But you want to be informed. You know you don't want to be a drug addict or an alcoholic for the rest of your life. You know you're suffering. You know you're beating up your wife or going through all kinds of things and want to correct it. How do you do it? How do you find the help that you need? All right, and I'm saying you reach out to one of you guys, the organizations, but they don't know that you exist.
Well, we want to open it up, too, because we're on Facebook Live here. And if you have a question for Ms. Gonzalez or Mr. Kingston that's burning in your heart, send it in to WBNradio@WeBelongNetwork.org. That's WBNradio@WeBelongNetwork.org. And we'll put it up on the table, and if you have something that's on your heart or you couldn't find the answer to, we'd like to help you find it today. And we have some great people here who have a lot of answers.
Yes. So take advantage of this opportunity, all of you veterans out there. We also have a part in WBN is called our information and resources, where we can put up all the information that a veteran needs that you guys have the answers to. So we need to partner with y'all, or both of you, and make things happen so that we can better inform the veteran community.
And it's also now, I think you Sean said something about veterans being computer literate and being able to really tap into those resources. But we are becoming such a multimedia-driven world, really. We're trying to hit on a lot of different levels. So maybe you don't know the latest computer program, but you watch a show or listen to a podcast or see a play that helps you identify what's going on with you. And that's another facet of WBN, which is providing entertainment, loosely put entertainment, because it's not all, we think of entertainment as something that makes you feel good. It doesn't always make you feel good. Our last host said he went to see a movie, Wayne Townsend, and it made him feel horrible, but it was accurate, and it made him understand more about what he was going through. And we know the suicide rate is still very high.
22 a day.
Yeah, and if someone could see another person go through it. Maybe it's a fictional story that says, oh, well, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one out here.
Yeah, so if we can help reduce the suicide rate, we've actually done our job. I'm sure you two concur with that. But now, getting back to the veteran issues, so what do you think is the strong point of what you do? What do you think, how could you better serve the veterans that you offer services to?
Partnering more with more community outlets like yourself. It's actually my first time here, so this is a plus.
We'd love to have you back.
Absolutely. In VA, our motto is partnership. We don't stand alone. No one stands alone. We need the community. We need family members of vets, friends of vets, vets themselves, to encourage veterans to take advantage of the services. Just a touch note on suicide, you mentioned 22 vets a day commit suicide. We're making a big push on crisis prevention. There's a 24-hour hotline vets can call. Okay. Family members of vets can call. Of those 22 vets that commit suicide on a daily basis, the vast majority of them have never stepped foot in the VA healthcare facility.
Exactly. Wow. That's my point exactly.
Never stepped foot.
So we're missing a connection somewhere.
Absolutely.
There's a missing link.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, there is.
So that's what we're here for, why we want to partner with you guys.
Absolutely.
So that we can close that hole. Yeah. I'm sorry.
So veterans, any vets who are listening, family members of vets, call the number. You can remain anonymous.
Want to put it on?
It can save your life.
The number?
We'll get you. We can save your life. It's 24 hours. Hotline is funneled by vets themselves. We'll get you that number in a second. You can call. But please call the number. It can save your life.
Right.
You can remain anonymous. If you're in a line of work where you're basically thinking about your job or your job security, you can remain anonymous, 100% anonymous. We will not disclose your information. So please call the number if you're having any crisis issue.
That's beautiful. Well, we're going to come right back with that number right after these messages. This is the 13th floor. Listen to a vet. Right here on TBJ Radio, we are so happy to be hosted by Lehman College, CUNY, and the Bronx Journal Radio. Come right back.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey. Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I asked what kind of family she wanted. She said, a family like yours.
Learn more about adopting a teen at adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Amine. Sometimes starting a conversation with a friend about mental health can feel awkward, but your support can make a huge difference. You know your friends best, so if you feel like something's wrong, trust your instinct and reach out. Learn how to start the conversation at seizetheawkward.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and the JED Foundation.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived in Philadelphia. Local time is 3:05 p.m. and the temperature is 67 degrees. At this time, you are now free to use your cellular devices.
You know that feeling when you get to turn your phone on after the plane lands? You can have that feeling every time you drive. Make sure your cell phone is stowed away whenever you're behind the wheel.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Okay, we're back here with From the 13th Floor, Listen to a Vet. Our guests this afternoon are Roxanne Gonzalez from Veterans Community Affairs and Sean Kingston from Veterans Community Outreach. located right here in the Bronx at the VA hospital. We want to remind you that you can, if you have a question that you want either one of them to answer, please send it in to WBN Radio at WeBelongNetwork.org. That's WBN Radio at WeBelongNetwork.org, the whole word. So we're back here, and we were talking about suicide, and I think we got the phone number for the suicide prevention.
Absolutely. So that National Veteran Suicide Hotline is 1-800-273-8255. Once again, it's 1-800-273-8255. Again, you can remain anonymous. It's 24 hours. The hotline is manned by veterans like yourself. You can call, family member can call. But please, if you're having any issues, mental health issues, please call the number. It can save your life. Thank you.
Okay, so there are other VA mental health issues also, and we also have the VA crisis hotline for mental health, for depression, PTSD, stress, and all of that. You can also call for the VA crisis hotline, 844-395-1271. That's 844-395-1271. For any other health issues, it doesn't matter. The line is manned 24 hours, 7 days a week. And if you feel that you need any kind of mental health treatment, if you feel that you just don't feel right, call somebody, reach out to somebody. Don't sit there and just accept it. You don't have to. The VA is here for you.
That's right. I actually experienced, I was in a program last September, and it was an awesome group that we gathered, and one of the members there had shared that for the last 20 years, he's actually had 3 divorces. Wow. And he was angry, and he didn't realize what was happening until he actually retired, and he said, well, let me go and check out the VA. And then when he walked in, he realized all the services that were available to him that he had not taken advantage of.
Yes.
And now he's actually receiving the help that he needs, taking anger management. He's looking forward to that last marriage because he wants to be prepared
And now he
before
knows how
he
to do it.
enters. That's correct.
Wow.
Right.
You know, so many times we hear about the things that plague a veteran, and of course, we know that war is not a pleasant experience for anybody.
Yeah.
But there are some things, and I know you partner with a lot of organizations in the Bronx here. There are some really great things that veterans are doing right here in the Bronx. Did you talk about some of those things, that the programs that are going on here?
Yeah, so we have a couple of programs happening. The resources that are being offered, we have for the winter, we were handing out coats and hats and gloves and toys. So, for Thanksgiving, we were handing out turkeys and it was veterans handing them out. Okay. That's one of the things that also at the VA was done. So we partner throughout the city just to kind of embrace and let them know, hey, you're not alone, and these are the resources, and it's not all about health and mental concerns. You also have weight concern, so there's programs available for that as well, where, they allow you and they teach you how to eat properly, which a lot of us, being African Americans, Latinos, we have an issue with because we love our fried food.
They love all our food.
Correct.
A little bit
Correct.
too much, yes.
So that's one of the advantages that we have. So it's not only because, the VA, they're going to help me with mental issues. No, you have other resources. Yeah, eyesight. What if you need glasses? You get that once a year. You have the MOVE program, which helps you, exercise and get healthier. And you need that if you want to, stay around a little longer. So, there's a couple of programs. We partner up with Lincoln Hospital when they have walks, and so these are the different things that we're trying to incorporate and kind of let the veterans know, hey, You don't have to, you're not alone.
You're not alone.
You're not
You're
alone.
part of a community.
Yes. So wherever you go, find out, is there a veterans office here? Because I will bet you there is.
Somewhere.
Sure.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about what's unique about the women's experience when they come out of the service? Is it different? Are there other issues that women face?
I want to say I hear different stories. I want to say that I'm a blessed woman and I didn't have too many obstacles. I was able to kind of line up everything up before I departed the military.
Okay.
It is difficult, and I know that I've heard
Yeah.
that after you depart, you have a lot of challenges. But I want to say that one of the things that the VA has actually improved with the health of a woman is that they have a new mammo suite on the second floor, which they just opened last year. I think they're running to their first anniversary, probably in May or so. And women could actually get that initial screen there. Before, we actually had to travel outside and be referred. Now we actually could have it there, and it's such a pretty area. I mean, it's so girly. I'm sorry. I love it.
Well, that's good. That's who they're serving.
Yes,
right?
and they're so pleasant. So there's a lot of services that are being provided, and I
For
see
female health.
and there's more women gathering. There's knitting and there's all kinds of stuff that you could actually art. There's different things offered at the VA.
Wow.
Great. Great. Same question to you, my friend. The question is, you want to repeat the question?
The services
For women.
issues that women face, particularly, are they different from their male counterparts? Are they? I see them. That's at your Bronx unit, the mammogram.
Yes, the same one.
I mean, the services have definitely gotten better over the years. Just to echo what Roxana said. Nationally there's a 9% increase of the number of female vets, and that was expected to climb every year from our mammogram. The VA actually offers maternal service on the outside where we contract an outside provider, medical facility to basically ensure the delivery of a female veteran's birth, and will pay for that service. From our knitting to our gold red, which we're going to have
That is correct.
next month as well.
On 13th, yes.
To
what's
our
gold
walk.
red?
We have a wonderful female veterans coordinator. She usually hosts a monthly meeting to basically highlight or address any issues any female vets are having within our VA facility. But for the most part, our female veterans are happy with their care. Just to highlight, overall, close to 80% of vets are happy with the care they receive in the VA. Nationally, we have an operating budget of over $220 billion for the entire VA system. With over 300,000 employees. Some of the programs that were basically highlighted, the Mission Act, but also telehealth. We're huge in telehealth. A vet, in the event he or she can't make it to the VA, granted that there's nothing, medical procedures or anything, they can actually make an appointment with their primary care physician, their mental health physician, the comfort of the smartphone or tablet.
All right. Wow.
There's no co-pays involved.
Wow.
And, for the person who's in college or busy lifestyle, it's a win-win. It's a win for the VA because you're getting the services and the care you need. It's a win for you because you don't have to come in, look for parking in the VA, which we're actually addressing.
Okay. Yeah, we heard about that.
We definitely encourage telehealth. Last year, I think we did over 2 million telehealth visits nationally.
Wow.
So it's definitely a plus for us.
We have to take a break here from the 13th floor. Listen to a vet. Listen to a vet. There's a lot going on here at TBJ Radio, right here from Lehman College. We Belong Network.
Hi, I'm
The next question will be,
Sometimes starting a conversation with a friend about mental health can feel awkward, but your support can make a huge difference. You know your friends best, so if you feel like something's wrong, trust your instinct and reach out. Learn how to start the conversation at seizetheawkward.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and the JED Foundation.
Sweet strawberry icing. You're in Goodwill, and just past that vintage denim jacket you spot miniature donut earrings. You lean in. Ah, that's the scent of shopping success. Because at Goodwill, every item you buy funds local job training and more. So bring home those donut earrings and bring home so much good to your community. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
I asked what kind of family she wanted. She said, a family like yours.
Learn more about adopting a teen at adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived in Philadelphia. Local time is 3:05 p.m. and the temperature is 67 degrees. At this time, you are now free to use your cellular devices.
You know that feeling when you get to turn your phone on after the plane lands? You can have that feeling every time you drive. Make sure your cell phone is stowed away whenever you are behind the wheel.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Okay, we're back for our final segment here on From the 13th Floor. Listen to a vet. We're listening to some great information by vets. And also, now you're not a vet exactly, but
Veteran of the Bronx.
But you were a veteran of the Bronx. Yeah, but you are one of those family, friends, and supporters that we so desperately depend upon as we service our men and women who served us so well. So I want to open it up now to Mr. Best. You had a question there?
Yeah, my question is, we've heard all of the bad things and the distress stories about veterans, okay? But we also know that there are some good things that happened to veterans when they got out. We also know that some of us started our own businesses. Some of us completed our higher education. And some of us even went to become millionaires in whatever their endeavors are. My question to you is, how can you serve a veteran, let's say a veteran businessman? How do they get funding for their business, or what could you do to help them become better at it?
Well, the VA has a program through the Small Business Administration website where veterans can actually go on there, fill out an application. We have people actually fill that application out for you, free of charge in the city. I can get that info. I don't have it on hand. So if you qualify, you can actually get a loan to start your business. Also, if you're a vet, you're looking to seek employment through the VA or a federal agency. As a vet, you get preference for certain jobs, granting you qualify for the job.
Absolutely.
If you're a vet, you're applying for a job, you may not be the only vet actually applying for that job. So if you're a vet, and depending on your service-related disability rating, you do get preference for certain jobs in the VA. We also have our CWT program, which stands for Workers' Compensation Therapy Program, for any veterans who are recently incarcerated. Any substance abuse issues, we will basically put you in a program for 6 months. Depending how well you do, if there's an opening, you can actually apply and get gainful employment in the VA. We're making a big push to hire vets. I'm not sure exactly what the numbers are, but I think a certain percentage of all VA employees needs to have some sort of veteran status. We also have a veterans employment coordinator at the VA. That person's sole job is to hire veterans for certain jobs within our VA, and all VAs throughout the country have that HR specialist as well. We also have 2 additional HR specialists at the VA. Their job is to actually work with outside organizations, actually help veterans find gainful employment. It's ironic you mentioned that. We're actually working with the U.S. Census Department. We're hosting 3 job fairs, which I'll get you guys the date.
Please.
One is the 28th, February 5th, and the 18th. So they're basically looking to hire vets. This is only a veteran hire job fair. So once we put that flyer out, which we'll blast it out sometime this week, we're encouraging vets to actually come in. Please bring a copy of your DD-214, very, very important, and your driver's license. We will have staff on there to actually help you fill that application out. from our VA computer
So
room.
they'll get preference in
They
the
will get
census?
preference, and it
Beautiful.
pays up to $24 an hour, if I'm not mistaken. So
You
it
hear
will-
that, guys, over there in the control booth? You're always looking for extra money. Yes, they're all vets.
Yeah, but there's a lot of programs out there for vets. You know, I normally tell vets, listen, go get it. You just meet us halfway, we'll meet you the other half. Unless you take that initiative to meet us halfway, I mean.
Well, I hope you will continue to feed us information.
Absolutely.
We'll try definitely to put it up on our websites and all kinds of, social media that we have out there.
So another success story, as Sean was mentioning, we also have the New York State benefits that you could acquire. Depending on your percentage of disability, you could actually get if you like fishing, if you have access to parks free, you could also probably get your registration for free. So it all depends on the percentage that you have.
For your automobile?
Yes.
Wow.
So you also get like different discounts that you actually could obtain. Now, the biggest dream is to own something. So they have home loans. Search for it. The Navy Federal, I know, is one of them. And I go Navy. That's who I support.
We won't hold that against you.
Okay. I know we kind of fall in the minority when I'm walking around the VA hallways. I always see majority is Army, but yes, we are increasing our numbers and awareness in the Navy community. One of the things that I was able to take advantage was the vocational rehab. As active duty, you're incorporating into the civilian life. They make sure that you get trained. So that's one of the things that took advantage, and I'm actually taking a second concentration on my master's degree. So I'm pretty excited.
What's it going to be in?
Well, it's a concentration on business with human resources.
Okay.
And the next one is general. It's just kind of just to assist with some of the skills that I currently have. And I'm pretty excited. And my commencement will be in June, so I'm pretty. Goldman Road College. That's where I got.
Cool.
So there's kind of quite a few things that there's available, and we just need to make sure that we take advantage.
Beautiful, beautiful. I want to really take this opportunity to thank you both for spending this hour with us. We hope that we will have you back again as you get new programs and other things you want to tell us about,
Or new
and share
information,
and new information to share with our audience. We also want to remind you that we're here every Wednesday from 3 to 4, and possibly a little change coming in the schedule, but we'll let you know starting in February. We're taking audition reels for any of you, and maybe some of you in the community know some people who want to come in and host a show and talk about the issues, the real issues that face veterans as they transition. But also, my last question is, would you encourage, and this is for you, Roxanne, would you encourage a young woman to enter the service today?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what I do is I try to guide them as best as I can, and make sure that they know what they're signing. Sometimes, you have recruiters that might be a little, enticed, for those numbers. But yes, they are my first priority. And whenever I hear someone that's looking for advice, I'm right there.
Okay.
I encourage them. You need to serve your country.
Great. And the benefits are there for you.
Definitely. When they hear about my benefits, they're like, oh my God, I want to join.
Right, because so many people, they don't have the money to go to school or to start a business. And that's a great way to get that jump start. Well, great.
It was great information. It was great talking to you two, and we got a lot out of it. And I'm hoping our audience also got a lot out of it. And if you have any further questions that you want to talk to Ms. Gonzalez or Mr. Sean Kingston, contact them personally. Okay. You can reach Mr. Sean Kingston at the Veterans Community Outreach here in the Bronx, at the Bronx VA, as a matter of fact, and Ms. Roxanne Gonzalez, Veterans Community Affairs. And she's at Community Board 5, and she's the Veterans Affairs Chair. That's at Bronx Community College campus, Gold Hall, at room 200. So feel free, reach out to us. Let us know what you feel. Let us know what you think. How can we better serve you? That's our job, and that's what we're here to do. So thank you again for everybody listening. I'm Richard Best. I'm the CEO of WBN, and we've had a blast.
I'm Professor Susan Watson Turner right here at Lehman College from the 13th floor. Listen to a vet right here on TBJ Radio. We thank you for joining us today and have a great day.